world and all who inhabit it, my name is Noah and welcome to my first impressions on the Season 11 premiere of SpongeBob, Spot Returns, and The Checkup. This is actually the second episode of Season 11, but they decided to air this one first for some reason. That's kind of annoying, but it's still the Season 11 premiere, still the first one to air, so gonna count it as the premiere anyways, because it kind of is. So, of course, I'm going to start off by talking about Spot Returns. That was definitely a great way to bring back Spot. I was confused as to how Spot could have puppies, but they gave a good reason, so the whole episode was not completely unrealistic or nonsensical. And I think that while they did turn it into a Plankton steals the formula plot in the end, they did it in a really creative way that still kept me interested even though I knew Plankton wouldn't get the formula in the end. There were also really funny running gags surrounding the episode, like Patrick as Mr. Krabs' guard dog, Karen rebooting throughout the entire episode just because she crashed from acute overload. Overall, this was a very entertaining episode, and even if we don't see Spot again for at least a little while, this was a very satisfying return for him. Now, let's talk about The Checkup. This episode is pretty disturbing, but in an interesting way. I'm not saying it's a bad episode by a long shot, but it's definitely a very violent episode. Mr. Krabs just gets completely destroyed by SpongeBob and Squidward, and really for no good reason. Though I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it just kind of left me with a bit of a negative feeling. But of course, Mr. Krabs came out fine in the end, so it's kind of alright. I'm not really sure how to feel about this episode. I mean, there were definitely a lot of very enjoyable moments, but I don't really feel that Mr. Krabs deserved to be brutally maimed. The only reason is he refused a checkup, and all of the stuff that Mr. Krabs had to go through was just because SpongeBob and Squidward were using unconventional ways to give Mr. Krabs his checkup. I still did laugh, I still had fun, but I don't know, there are definitely negatives that aren't entirely negatives because they aren't that bad. Like I said, Mr. Krabs does come out happy in the end. He's not completely miserable, but just seeing all the torture he has to go through, it didn't seem well deserved at all. In fact, a lot of the torture, like I said before, looked pretty disturbing. There were a lot of veins being shown. When Mr. Krabs' shell came off, it didn't look very appealing. There was also a scene where Mr. Krabs' skeleton fell apart. It doesn't leave very many pleasant images in my head. But I'm not sure, it could use another watch. But for now, I say that these two episodes were a very strong start to Season 11. I can definitely already see some differences from Season 10. Like how the expressions are even more wacky than they were before, which is surprising because I didn't think they could go any farther than how expressive they are in Season 10. Overall, Spot Returns was a great way to reintroduce a character. The Checkup, while it was kind of violent, for no good reason, I still had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I believe there's 2 new episodes airing on July 16th, Spin the Bottle and Sports, so I'll be back then for my first impressions on those episodes. But until then, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and until my next video, stay tuned, see ya, bye.